Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Anime One back here with another video, and today I'm here with another part of What If Naruto had the jougan. So, if you guys like the content in the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, also like this video. So, let's begin the video. Naruto's eyes fluttered open. The first thing he noticed was the grimy rock structure of the cave. The atmosphere was quite cold, making him shiver a little. He felt something soft feeling of the bed beneath his back, wondering just what did Arashi process through such a thing and where from. Deciding to blink away of the remnants of the sleep from his groggy eyes, he tried to lift his right hand only to find it blocked. It was then he realized something comfortable warmth, along with the light weight of something pressed in his left side. Someone's legs intertwined with his own, and he felt the sound of faint breaths on his chest. For the first time, a genuine smile appeared on his lips. His confused stare turned to one of affection as he saw Ada wrapped tightly beside him, her soft and warm body providing him with needed protection in the cold weather. Her long blue hair had fallen from her face and his chest. Naruto was surprised to find that his own left hand was holding her close to him. He reminded, still, not knowing what to do. Her steady breathing showed she was deep in sleep, and he would be damned if he disturbed her when she looked so peaceful. He felt so tired as he took a deep breath, managing to make Ada smile faintly as he was lifted up a little due to her rising chest. This girl, thought Naruto in disbelief, as he mirrored a smile that was present on his lips. The thoughts drifted towards the conversation he had with Arashi before he collapsed. Guess even his body had limits, and he had nearly exhausted all of his chakra reserves with all the fighting, healing, and running. He pressed Ada closer to him, enjoying the feeling of her smooth body. She was growing up and slowly transforming into a woman from a teenage girl. As he looked at her, it made him realize that she was probably the most beautiful woman he had ever seen in his life, and with the time, she would grow even more magnificent. Stroking a few strands of her smooth blue hair is one of his conversation with the Uzukage. Flashback. Naruto was simply sitting with the Uzukage. He was recently promoted to a chunin, and that meant the Uzukage had a simple one-on-one day with him, and the Uzukage was telling him something special. Naruto, do you know that even Uzumaki cannot break the barrier that surrounds our village, that has been keeping us safe all these years? Said the Uzukage, and Naruto snapped his head towards the Uzukage, clearly confused. You mean even you cannot break it? Asked Naruto. The Uzukage shook his head. No, not even I can break it. It's somehow like a real god had created that barrier to protect the Uzumaki. No one but an Uzumaki can enter the village, and that's the strange thing. It's like the Uzu was specifically created for the Uzumakis right from the beginning. Our ancestors didn't create this barrier, Naruto. It was already there from the beginning. And I suspect if this barrier falls due to something, I think more of this mystery will be unsolved. And I suspect this time will come soon, said the Uzukage. Naruto looked at his Kage. And what makes you think so? He asked. The Uzukage shook his head. I don't know, maybe a gut instinct. But if that ever happens, I want you to figure it out. Why did the barrier fall? Even when we Uzumakis cannot make it fall, no one can enter our village. All the imports and exports are done outside the village for the goods, supplies, and stuff. So that simply means that all these years we have been protected by God, and if something happens to these barriers, it simply means that God was angry with us. Those words were what Naruto was thinking. If that was what it was, why did the barrier fell? Why did all that attacks happen? It was like everything was falling in place. Something or someone had to do something with the fall of the barrier. It was as if he was waiting for the opportunity for all three villages to band together and then attack Uzu. It was as if whoever had control over that barrier was waiting for that moment, and that confused them. And how the hell could others enter the barrier if the barrier hadn't fallen? It was as if the barrier was letting everyone in. That didn't make any sense. It shook his head. Maybe it has to do something with his eyes. One of his eyes. The new dojutsu that he had unlocked. To be strange, he felt like visions had been coming to him, but they were very blurry when he was sleeping, so he couldn't exactly make out what they were. But in due time, he would figure it out. He looked at the woman beside him. He still couldn't understand what she saw in him, since he didn't even believe that he was worthy of her or any man or woman as for that fact. If only he could understand what the hell was going through his mind. Any normal person of his age would be jumping at the chance of having such an attractive female fall for him, and yet he simply felt empty. Deep down, he felt guilty for torturing Ada like this, but he himself didn't have a clue. Why was he so pushy? It was her greatest fault. She simply didn't know when to quit or to give up, or give him some constant space, letting him know her constant intentions. At first, he was pretty surprised and flattered, but ever since Uzi was destroyed, he was a mess. He purposefully didn't let either of his friends see it. They themselves were dealing with their own personal emotions and problems. That was why he had to be strong and project a pacifying facade. He didn't want to be a leader, but there was no other choice. His friends and the surviving children were blindly believed that he would lead them to safety and their lives would go back to normal. But what about him? What should be his next move? Where should he take them? What risk would come with such a decision? What if they got in another trouble? What if he faced someone much more stronger than Kisame? Naruto couldn't bear watching any more of his friends die. Falling in battle would be more merciful in comparison to that pain. But for Ada, all that was a secondary priority. All mattered to her was that he returned her feelings. He had to be patient and try to reason with her because he didn't want to hurt her feelings, but he simply wasn't ready for such a relationship. Perhaps he would be ready, or he would never be ready. He didn't know, but he was thankful that he felt unconscious before their talk began. He was already on edge and had only limited patience to deal with their anger rants or remarks. He feared that he would say something bad in his anger and that would deeply hurt her and damage their friendship. If only the silly girl understood how precious she was to him. He loved her more than anything in the world, and he would give up anything for her. Maybe not his clan or people, but most of it he would. People didn't need to be romantic love towards each other to understand their importance. The camaraderie he felt with her and Arashi was the only thing preventing him from going towards the dark path. It was the concern for their safety and what they thought of him and his actions that stopped him from crossing the moral lines. There was so much to do, so much to accomplish, and he doubted that he would have the time, energy, and the desire to address these issues anytime soon. He had to stay focused. Time skip. A few hours later, Ada had woken up and Naruto and Arashi were standing before her. He had to make his decision clear to his friends. They had chosen to lead him down, and now was the moment where he had to prove their allegiance to him. "We are leaving the Fire Nation," said Naruto bluntly. "Thought as much. You already told me. Things are getting much tense with the upcoming war with Suna. What do you have in mind?" said Arashi. He already knew what Naruto had in mind. He had already told him tomorrow to go to the land of rain and seek shelter there. It was this nation was disgusting with its people. Now, wait just a moment. Are you guys insane? Do we really have to make such a move so recklessly? Asked Ada in surprise. He gasped when Arashi simply shrugged, and when she looked at Naruto, she shivered. "I don't have to explain the gravity of our situation to you, Ada. If you choose your talents on pressing the matters, then you would easily see that our situation is dire in the Fire Nation," replied Naruto coolly. He had to use every ounce of his willpower to not flinch. Ada stared at him. The look in her eyes was enough to show that someone had given her a tight slap. Even Arashi's eyes were a little wide, but he refused to comment or make any things worse. The ball was in Ada's court. Naruto saw her trying to digest the harsh remark, her mind still in shock and trying to conjure a response. Seeing she was not convinced, he stared at himself and gave her a professional gaze as of a shinobi, not of a friend. "You are a ninja of Uzu like us. Our only duty is to protect the children left alive. That's our mission," said Naruto coldly. "You," said Ada. "Mission is all that you matter, nothing more. And as the leader of our team, I expect you to have your support in this matter," suggested Naruto, the meaning clear behind his cryptic words. Even Arashi closed his eyes when Ada looked at both of the boys disappointedly. Naruto suppressed a flinch when she straightened up and gave him a formal salute. All playfulness and hesitation gone from her eyes as she stared at him blankly. He didn't know why he felt an aching pain in his heart on seeing the look in her eyes, or the lump that was forming in his throat on making her go through this. "Orders acknowledged. Is there anything else?" asked Ada professionally. "Dismissed," whispered Naruto as he roughly walked past him. When it was sure that Ada was out of hearing distance, Arashi fixed his gaze at his friend, whose shoulders had slumped. Naruto's eyes showed even more tiredness than he had arrived after his encounter with Kisame. "You're sure about this, Naruto?" asked Arashi. "Yes, he's too emotional, Arashi. You didn't see her almost die on the mission. That's because she couldn't control her emotions for me. Her focus on me is quite unhealthy, and she needs to be reminded of our constant priorities. And I'm willing to bear her hatred if it means she performs her duty and continues to survive. That's all that matters to me. Her survival," explained Naruto frankly. "Since when did surviving become more important than living?" asked Arashi, and regretted asking the question when the air in the cave dropped a few degrees. Naruto was giving him a stern glare, yet Arashi saw the pain evident in his friend's eyes. "It all became important to me when we lost our village. We lost our people, when we were betrayed by everyone. When last of our people were standing still, being hunted down like cattle. I will not and I cannot afford to fail anyone. All my life I've devoted myself to our nation and our people. Their will be survival. It is my reason for my existence. and I've already failed my mission twice. I can't make that mistake again, and I won't. Promise, Naruto. Maybe you did the right thing as our team leader, but as a person, do you honestly think what you did to Ada was right? Asked Arashi patiently. My personal feelings are worthless and unimportant, replied Naruto flatly. And what was there more disturbing for Arashi was the fact that Naruto actually believed that. You're goddamn stupid, said Arashi, and received the icy glare from his friend. In the beginning of my life, what I think, what I have felt, never mattered or has been considered. My path was chosen the day when my own parents gave me up. The only reason I lived till this day was because of the Uzukage gave me a mission to believe in and fight for. The mission is to serve my nation and to protect my people, and I won't let anything interfere with that. Not even Ada or you. Promised Naruto fiercely. Naruto, do you know that it's clearly impossible for the rebuild of our village? Asked Urashi hesitantly. For the first time, he saw the longing in Naruto's eyes. His friend had dearly loved their nation, no matter the struggles he had to go through because of it. I know, Urashi, whispered Naruto, losing up his built-up anger. Yet, I've still heard that you say you would reform Muzu and restore our clan's position from the power in this world. Yes, said Naruto. How? On that question, Naruto took a deep breath, resigned his emotions. Arashi was the closest friend and most dependable ally, and it was just vital that he agreed with his plans. Can you swear your loyalty as a ninja to a foreign nation? Asked Naruto seriously, and was not surprised as he received a glare in return. What? Said Arashi, and become the leader of our clan. I already had this conversation with you yesterday, Arashi, said Naruto. But, Naruto, why the Rain Village? The nation is not just the future of our clan, but of a new world that I want to establish, confessed Naruto, finally receiving a little constrictive side of his grand plan. Arashi merely raised a curious eyebrow at, and yet gave a nod to his friend to continue. While it's small and has suffered in the past due to two wars to the three big villages, namely Konoha, Suna, and Iba, it was the last 2 decades it's slowly becoming strong under the leadership of Salamander Hanzo. You heard of him, I told you yesterday, right? Said Naruto, getting a nod from his friend. Of course, he single-handedly defeated the legendary three Sanins. Said Arashi frankly, what else do you know about the man and his nation? Inquired Naruto, making his friend frown. A little, he placed his finger on his chin, on a adopting, thinking pose. Honestly, not much. The land of Rain is closely guarded nation, and from what the reports I've heard, its shinobi are not as strong as talented as Hanzo. Analyzing land of iron and that gave the village enough resources to create a self-sufficient economy. It also has a good number of natural resources. Also, the three great villages have tried to stop and rise of this nation, but Hanzo has been able to stop their inferior schemes, explained Orochi in detail. Yes, exactly. Yet, even a man like Hanzo knows that if those three villages were to unite, then his nation would be doomed. Our own country's destructive would have already sent an alarm bells for him, and he would have been looking to bolster up his defenses in every possible way. Despite his own strength and the decent army he has, Hanzo's nations lacks the power of the special ninja clan like Eva, Konoha, and Suna has. Now imagine if those monkey come to his aid. We may not have the number, or but the knowledge in the sealing arts, as well as the other talents that we have, can be of help to him immensely. Plus, he would officially have an ancient, noble clan, pledging loyalty to his nation, thereby increasing the status of the Rain Village in the world, meaning more business for his nation. But that's only the facade that we have to put on. As soon as we gather allies, we'll overthrow Hanzo and take over the Rain country. Naruto seriously. To say that Orochi was peaceless would be an understatement. The plan was risky and dependable on a lot of uncertain variables and possibilities. Yet you could see a glimmer of success behind it all. He stared at his friend, who impassively waited for him to state his opinion, and for a moment he felt awed and scared of Naruto. His friend was a visionary and a cunning fox who knew how to accomplish his dreams. Now Arashi understood why the Hokage had left their clan's future to Naruto, with him guiding them. Their hope for not only the surviving their harsh times, but regaining their lost glory seemed possible. If Hanzo rises, so does the clan which supports him, and the Uzumaki would become the dominant family in the Rain Village if we play our cards right. Just like the Uchiha and the Senju of Konoha, we'll have to pledge our loyalty to another leader, asked Orochi hesitantly. He was, after all, a soldier of the Uzu, and this was no plan, no matter how beneficial it seemed a little wrong to him. You, Ada, and the rest of our clans will have to do so. I'll only keep a facade until we are ready. It is necessary to restore our clan's glory. This is the only way, Arashi requested Naruto politely. And what about you? Asked Arashi hesitantly, and saw his friends smile grimly. As I said, we need allies to take over the Lane Village, and my ambitions will get in the way. Arashi, besides, I can never see my loyalty to anyone else. I've lived my entire life as a soldier of the Uzumaki, said Naruto proudly. There's nothing I could say that will make you change your mind, is there? Asked Arashi tiredly, and saw Naruto smirk. Nope, there's not. So you want me to be the leader of our clan? Asked Arashi worriedly. Naruto gave his friend a proud smile and placed his hand on his young head's shoulder. Arashi gave him a weak smile in return. You have a good heart, Arashi, and you care about your people not as much as me. Despite my talents, I'm not someone whom our people can freely approach with their problems. I am a soldier, and I have to protect them from the shadows. But it is like you and Ada who must gain Hanzo and his nation trust towards our clan. Then only and the Uzumaki gain everything that we have lost, explained Naruto patiently. I am not good enough, mumbled Arashi, as Naruto surprisingly placed a hand on his friend's head. You will be the savior of our clan, Arashi. I know you can do it, said Naruto honestly. A lone tear fell from Arashi's eyes as he stared into his friend's shining eyes that were full of pride and confidence. Nobody had ever trusted him with anything important in his entire life. His own parents had loved him, but never believed him to be capable of greatness. Even in the academy, he felt eclipsed by Naruto and Ada. After Uzu's fall, he still felt useless for being weak, and here was the person willing to believe in him despite all his weaknesses, even going as far as making him the future leader of their clan, an honor that Arashi didn't think he deserved. Yet, looking into Naruto's proud eyes made him believe that just maybe, he could live up to everyone's expectations, and if he became the leader and got close to Hanzo, then he could get more supports for whatever revolution Naruto wanted to bring in this world. I'll support you in any way I can. Arashi, promised Naruto. You, whispered Arashi, still stunned with what he had just heard. Can you give me some time to think? Asked Arashi slowly, getting a nod from his friend. Of course, I plan to take us all to the land of rain by the end of the week. I'm sure you'll come to a decision by then, no matter what happens or what decision you make. I believe in you, Arashi, said Naruto proudly. One last encouraging smile to his friend, Naruto turned around and started walking away in order to check up on the children. As much as difficult it was for him to accept, his future lied with the Akatsuki, and he needed members. For that, he would have to be out of the village. Maybe he could get some members inside the village, but he would never know that. Despite Arashi and Ada's willingness to follow him out of the goodness of their hearts, he knew that they had other dreams as well, and were vital for the Uzumaki clan, at least this way. This is goodbye, isn't it? Naruto froze, his eyes widened on hearing his friend's voice. Hesitantly turning around, he saw Arashi staring at him with a wistful, yet compassionate smile. Arashi, you are a crappy villain, do you know that? Said Arashi calmly as his friend stared at him, a little shocked. Making me the clan leader, desperately pushing Ada away in the time of the mission. Still trying to protect us, huh? Asked Arashi knowingly, and was not surprised when Naruto's fist clenched, and he averted his gaze. You assume too much, said Naruto coldly, trying to ignore his friend's piercing stare. You aren't getting rid of us so easily. Darkness or light, the three of us swore to have each other's back. We made a promise, and I won't let you break it, warned Arashi. You, said Naruto in a stunned voice. Even Arashi got a cocky smirk on his face. Besides, as a clan leader, I order you, my lackey, to do whatever I want, can't I? Asked Arashi mysteriously as his friend. Eyebrows twitched. Lackey? Said Naruto, making Arashi smile. Arashi Uzumaki commands you, minion. The red-headed was Duck Akunai, sealed above him. Surprised, he looked at Naruto, whose eyebrows were heavily twitching. Arashi smiled, pretended to dust off the imaginary dirt from his shoulders. That's it, yelled Naruto irritably. Ada had been silently grumping outside the cave. How dare that stupid Naruto insult her like that? Did Kisame knock out some common sense or something? She didn't know whether to be pissed off on the boy, smack him repeatedly on the head, or simply beat him. It was fair to say that Naruto Uzumaki was driving her insane. But that's what you like about him, isn't it? Shut up. She sighed as her own two inner imaginary sides continued to bicker inside her head. Naruto was frustrating and a little difficult to handle as always. Yet despite her internal anger and hurt she felt, you could see that something had affected him. Something must have happened on the mission. That was why he was deliberately pushing her away. And for God's sake, was he awfully bad at that. The three of them had been together through a lot, and if that dumbass thought such lame attempts would push her away, then he was in for a rude surprise. Arashi had insisted that they had to stick together no matter what. Despite their differences, and had to agree with her friend. In a way, she was grateful to Arashi. He kept their team together and served as a mediator between his friends. His calm nature was the reason why Naruto and she could even tolerate each other and become such good friends. She was surprised when Arashi madly dashed out of the cave, as a series of kunai as well as some water bullets followed after him, courtesy of a pissed-off Naruto who was chasing his friend, and despite everything, it made her smile. She finally observed Naruto finally caught up to his friend and gave him a few bumps on the head. Arashi turned merely shrunk to the ground, as depressed as he could. A cloud loomed over his head, as the boy's head. Even Naruto continued to scold him, only knew what Kami knew what they did. Yet watching them stick together, no matter what, gave her hope. She couldn't give up on either of her friends so easily. No matter what awaited them in the future, they would stick together and they would be there for each other. And that was a promise.